politiek. Het ging altijd hand in hand samen. Je ziet ook bijvoorbeeld bij de opkomstpercentages van verkiezingen dat Denen eigenlijk allemaal naar de stembus gaan. Maar eigenlijk sinds een jaar of 10 is dat vertrouwen in de politiek een beetje aan het dalen. Hoe dat komt en waarom dat zo is en wat daaraan gedaan kan worden, dat ga ik hier uitzoeken en daarom ben ik hier nu in Kopenhagen in Denemarken. Waar je ook loopt in deze stad, Kopenhagen, op iedere hoek van de straat, elke lantaarnpaal, overal word je herinnerd aan politiek. Denen die stemmen namelijk dit jaar niet alleen voor de Europese, maar ook nog eens voor de landelijke verkiezingen, dus voor hun eigen parlement. Over deze naderende verkiezingen spreek ik met Kasper Møller-Hansen. Kasper is politicoloog aan de universiteit in Kopenhagen.
First of all, we have a national election just after the European election. This means that the national election will basically crowd out the whole election campaign for Europe, and a lot of Danes will not really notice that there is another election going on. So the turnout will probably be lower than we've seen in a few elections. It would be difficult for the candidates, for instance, just to get their posters up in terms of not getting overcrowded with the national politicians. When it comes to the European election, Danes are not as accustomed to voting. Then the last turnout at the European election was only 56%. We think that is very low in Denmark. I know it's much higher than it is in many other countries, but still we think it's low compared to our almost 90% when it comes to the national election.
Dus de opkomstpercentages bij verkiezingen in Denemarken zijn uitzonderlijk hoog. Zelfs als het gaat om de Europese verkiezingen. Maar hoe kan het dan dat het vertrouwen van de Denen in hun politiek dan achteruit is gegaan?
So far we are seeing that Danes tend to trust politicians much less than they've done in recent elections. Danes still trust the political institutions, so the mistrust is actually in terms of the specific politicians. And what they are doing is they actually move their votes to other parties, more extreme both on left and right, and leaving the established parties. So they, even though they have strong mistrust, they still are voting. They're just voting for different parties. Over the years there's been quite a few scandals when it comes to politicians being accused of fraud or just misgovernment their funds, and that of course have meant that many politicians are now not being trusted anymore. And then on top of that, they tend to promise way too much. They're not able to deliver their election promises, and when you can't deliver what you promised, then basically what happens is that people start to mistrust you.
En dan zijn er nog een aantal rechtspopulistische partijen, waaronder de Danske Folkeparti, ook wel de Danish People's Party genoemd, die de oorzaken van minderend vertrouwen blijven benoemen.
The Danish People's Party has been built on a platform of criticizing the establishment. The funny part about it is now the Danish People's Party is being accused for exactly that, being part of the establishment. But the Danish People's Party has definitely done much in terms of fueling this criticism of the established party.
Na het interview met Kasper besluiten we nog even wat fraaie beelden te maken van het immens grote universiteitsgebouw. En terwijl we dat doen, staat er een grote auto vlak voor het gebouw geparkeerd. Even later blijkt deze van een politieke partij te zijn die momenteel actief aan het campagne voeren is. En ook ik word aangesproken.
Hey, can I give you a flyer and some candy?
Yes, of course. What's this kind of flyer?
It's because the Danish parliamentary election started yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're campaigning, and I come from the Social Liberal Party here in Denmark, and I campaign for a woman called Ida Augen. This person who's on the back side.
Yes.
Yeah, this woman. That's Ida.
It's a kind of left wing?
Well, we're exactly in the middle.
Oh, it's exactly in the middle. Okay, then I make a big mistake. And what's on this flyer? What does it say?
This one says, thank you for educating yourself.
You're standing before the university, so that's very tactical for your political party.
It is, yeah. Actually, we have a flyer for each of our cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so today we're at the university, and we have a flyer saying thank you for educating yourself. And then we also focus on taking the bike instead of taking the car. So then that's why we've made a flyer as well that says thank you for taking the bike.
Well, good luck today with campaigning and the rest of. I think how long is the campaign?
Until the 5th of June.
Until the 5th. Oh yes, national elections.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Gisteren had ik een interview met Casper Møller-Hansen. Dat was een politiek wetenschapper aan de universiteit in Kopenhagen. Hij vertelde mij dat er wel degelijk invloed is van politieke partijen op het vertrouwen van Denen de laatste tijd. Dat had onder meer te maken dus inderdaad met de Danske Folkeparti, de opkomst daarvan. Maar hij geeft ook aan dat er meerdere nieuwe extreme partijen aankomen. Maar toen vroeg ik me eigenlijk dus af van waar wonen nou eigenlijk die mensen die wat minder vertrouwen hebben in de politiek? Is er echt een volkswijk in Kopenhagen waar ik mensen kan aanspreken en dat ik definitief een antwoord ga krijgen van goh, hier wonen ze. Hij gaf mij een briefje en daarop stond de wijk Kvivodre en Christiana. En wij zijn op dit moment met de redactie bij Kvivodre, als ik het goed uitspreek. Dat is denk ik een beetje een soort volkswijk. En we gaan hier op zoek naar, we gaan hier wat mensen aanspreken en we gaan kijken of zij een bepaalde mening hebben over de politiek die toch wat minder goed is dan dat het eigenlijk hoort te zijn. Are you going to vote for the elections?
Sure.
Okay.
I always do that. I always put the cross on the same, but sometimes I think I have the feeling afterwards that they are a little bit of full of shit.
Full shit?
Yeah, they give a lot of promises, but they don't keep them. They are throwing rocks at each other, and I don't think that's fair play. Yeah, they also doing a little bit rougher things. I like the politicians when they were working people.
Generally, yeah. I always think twice every time they say something. It's a way that they say things more to get voters than actually doing something. They are saying it in a way that you can't see through, that you don't know exactly what they're saying.
Alle 5 mensen die ik in Kvivodre op straat gesproken heb, schetsen de politiek momenteel negatief. Is het dan typisch iets voor de mensen in deze wijk om zo tegen de politiek te zijn? Of is het pure toeval? Ik vroeg het aan politicoloog Morten Frederiksen. Hij heeft pas zijn boek uitgebracht, waarin hij refereert aan vertrouwen van Denen.
If you go to the suburbs of Copenhagen, in particular going south, you'll find some people who are well educated with high incomes who have a lot of trust, and then you'll find the sort of original inhabitants of those areas who have a lower level of trust. Because I think the demographic changes that's going on in Copenhagen means that those with high educations and good incomes are moving into those suburbs because Copenhagen is becoming extremely expensive. So they are being pushed out. So you probably found an area where the exact mechanism that's polarizing the Danes' trust is actually happening. So you could have found both, depending on what kind of area in Hvidovre you're working into.
And what are the conclusions of this book?
Right. Well, it's a book about a lot of different topics. In the part that's about trust, we have 2 main conclusions. So the overall conclusion is that the Danish level of trust is consistently high, as it has been in the previous years, both trust in regards to other people and trust in political institutions. But we can see that within some parts of the population, trust is declining, and it's declining rather rapidly for, in particular, people who have shorter educations and lower incomes. And that increase has continued for those who are rich and those who are well educated. But for those who are in manual labor or who have little or no education, they've actually reverted to a trust level that's at the level of 1999 when we did a measurement. So everything that was gained between 1999 and 2008 has been lost after the financial crisis.
Why are those people distrusting more now?
The Danes have not lost trust in sort of the courts or the police or the military, but in political institutions, government, parliament, so on. Trust is connected to issues about complexity reduction and keeping the world sort of a certain place. So you expect politicians to handle issues like the financial crisis and so on. And when that doesn't happen, when the political system that you expect to handle complexity and handle that kind of pressures fail to do so, then you lose trust, right? And most people expected prior to the financial crisis that whatever happened, they would be materially secure. And what happened was that a lot of people lost their jobs, their houses, the housing cost has been increasing in Denmark rapidly over the last 20 years. A lot of people lost a lot of money in the housing market, and at the same time, politicians, the government decided to cut back on unemployment benefits, right? So they would have less money and for a shorter time. I mean, they weren't really keeping the promise of the Scandinavian welfare state, right? So people were disappointed and they were afraid. And I think that has made a huge impact. We can see that all over
that
the
was
world.
feeding the distrust.
Yes, exactly. You expected this to work, and it turned out it didn't.